welcome to Book Chat. My name is Leslie and I run the Reading Safari and Stream programs for Monterey County Free Libraries. Today, the book that I'm going to discuss is called Northwood by Maryse Meijer. This book is a novella. It clocks in at 129 pages. And it is genre bending, and I'm going to talk about that a little more later. But yes, a novella. It is a gorgeous book. If you open it, you can see the pages are black, and that alone just kind of makes me swoon. I'm a big sucker for that kind of stuff. Let me tell you a bit about this book. It's the story of an artist. She goes to live in the forest to work on her art. And while she's there, she falls in love with an older married man. And they have a very explosive and torrid affair. This affair is both, violent and tender. And it has a huge impact on her. She's young. And then she goes back after, a short amount of time. I think it's maybe a year. I can't exactly remember, but it's a short amount of time that she lives in the forest and she's working on her art and she has this affair with this man. And then she goes back to her normal life. She continues to work on her art. She ends up getting married. Her mother falls ill with cancer. And then, the artist is taking care of her mother. So all of those things continue after their affair, but the affair is so... it leaves such an impression on her that she really carries it with her throughout her life. So like I said, this book it's very short. At 129 pages, you would think that, you couldn't pack a lot in there, but trust me, there's a lot packed in here. I'd say that this book is about a lot of things. I think it's a comment on trauma and how we carry trauma with us throughout our life. We have to make a space for it throughout our life. It's also a retelling of some fairy tales like Little Red Riding Hood. So think about, Little Red Riding Hood. She's going through the forest, going to her grandmother's house. And then all of a sudden she's accosted by this big bad wolf. And, then there is the woodsman who has to save her. And it is very, a very predictable story that is retold and retold. But the difference is that in this story, we have the artist. She's gone to the woods. She meets the big bad, wolf or the older married man. And instead of being scared of him, she gives in to that danger. And it's a comment, I think, on women claiming their sexuality and claiming themselves, being their own heroes. So I think there's some of that going on too. I also think that there is some of her wanting the trauma that comes from the danger. I don't know. It kind of depends on where I am when I'm reading it. And I've read this, twice already this year. And it just depends on how I'm feeling at the time when I'm reading it. A little bit more on the book itself. It's, like I said before, genre bending. So it's a novella because it's a story, but it is in largely poetic form. And the pages all kind of look different. There's some, let me find the one where this one has, pages or words that are all over the page. And then, each chapter or poem or whatever has a title. And a lot of times these are references to Greek mythology or different characters from the tarot. And so it requires some extra work to read this because I think it's helpful to know the references. If you don't know the story of like Narcissus and Echo, then perhaps those sections that are called Narcissus and the other one called Echo won't make much sense, but they do, you know. But I think what this book, you know, would make this book really, really even more rich than it already is reading it with a, you know, a Greek mythology, you know, encyclopedia and a book about the tarot, among other things that would really kind of help give some explanations to the references. But I absolutely don't think that you need those things in order to enjoy this book. I mean, this book is very literary, but it does stand on its own. I think that those maybe are supplemental materials that could maybe make it even richer, but not required. So I definitely recommend this. Like I said, I've read this 2 times this year alone. I am a crazy person for literary fiction. I love books that make me kind of work hard for the overall point and the story. And so this book totally delivers. I totally recommend it. If you check it out, please let me know how it is. You can post about it on social media and tag us. And I would just love to discuss this with somebody. Thank you so much for tuning in to this book chat, and I will see you next week. All right, take care. Bye-bye.